It's worth investigating.
Jeffrey McDonald, A Legacy of Murder. Watch A Current Affair Monday at 7:30 on Fox Channel 5, New York.
Burks!
Tonight, into the sky with the next generation of helicopters. Down on the ground, computers lead the fight for healthy feet. And at home, the automated house of the future.
サウナがついています。
Ian's left the sauna on. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Beyond Tomorrow. Also in this evening's program, share trading in your living room through video game computers. And electronic anesthesia takes the pain out of dental work. But right now, Randy's on the road with a car that's ready to fly.
Imagine zipping to the grocery store in this. You can if you're willing to trade space for speed and handling. This cross between a motorcycle, car, and airplane is called the Pulse. The Pulse car sprang from the mind and garage of this man, Michigan native Ed Butcher. Butcher's Pulse is really the first vehicle to successfully combine the aerodynamics of an aircraft with the performance of a motorcycle and the style of a sports car. You won't see a Pulse on every corner. To date, only 310 are traveling U.S. roadways, but each one's unique, and Ed's had some pretty weird requests.
Tail fins, horizontal fins, wing-like things, interior radios and sound systems, 160-watt kicker on a radio in a compartment that's barely big enough for two people, that kind of thing. Exotic lighting, strobe lights, and, you know.
The body of a Pulse car is made of fiberglass formed around a tubular steel frame. The wings act as a stabilizing force, and each is tipped with a small wheel. When traveling down the road, only 3 wheels are touching the ground at any one time. Thus, the Pulse is licensed and insured as a motorcycle.
There's a radiator here and a cooling fan, which take care of both the radiator and the air conditioner.
That's 1,200 cc's?
Yes, it is.
Is that fast? Ed?
Sure is.
Can I take it for a spin?
Why don't you take off?
All right. The great creature comforts of most cars are right at the fingertips of the driver in the Pulse car. Air conditioning, stereo, tachometer, and a 5-speed manual transmission.
Sitting in the seat of a Pulse car is kind of like sitting in the cockpit of a jet fighter. When you step on the gas, the thrust adds to that feeling.
Top end on the Pulse is about 130 miles an hour. But of course, driving that fast, you probably won't have a license long enough to enjoy it. There's no compromise in economy with the Pulse. A gallon of gas will get you about 55 miles in this vehicle. The body styling gives it a fantastic futuristic look, at the same time following form with function. You can see it's made for fun. Price of excitement is about $15,000. That's average, of course. When you start ordering up some interesting options, the cost goes up.
Sometimes preparing for a show requires a makeup genius. I wonder if Joan Collins goes through this. No woman likes to age for the camera, but even Joan might if she knew the end result. For the powder isn't simply a cosmetic technique, but a tool to allow a low-beam laser to read my head. It's a process known as 3D imaging. And the laser, combined with precision optics and computer-controlled sensors, results in a life-size bust of myself in a matter of hours. The developers at Cyberware Labs are convinced this will do for the traditional sculpture what photography did for portrait sitting.
The best way to capsulize it is to think about what George Eastman was going through 100 years ago in developing the camera. And we're pretty much doing the same type of development here in three-dimensional imagery.
It only took the 3D laser imaging machine 15 seconds to record 250,000 measurements of my face. And like it or not, here's the first result, which it really does look quite a bit like me. Anyway, we've transferred the information now to a computer workstation, and that only took 5 seconds. And once it's loaded, immediately we see two images. One is a wireframe picture, and that shows the 3D points when they're linked. The other is a polygonalized tiled surface that shows what it's going to look like when the points are all linked and the surface is shaded in. And this gives the user a really good idea of what the final product's going to look like once it's milled. Before my personal piece of physical immortality can be sculpted, the measurements stored in the computer are scaled down, and other mathematical computations are made from the extent of the upturn in my nose to the depth of my laugh lines, all within 1% accuracy. The computer then transfers the data to the milling machine, where in a few hours, at a cost of a few $100s, a 3D me will be carved from the same type of polyurethane foam used in surfboards, and I'll be ready for a spot among the quote-unquote studio audience. Not to be confused with fine art, this is merely the coming of age of the Xerox machine with an added dimension. But apart from flattering the ego, digital sculpture is proving an enormous benefit to the medical community, especially in areas of reconstructive and cosmetic surgery. Other applications include special systems for prostheses design, burn analysis, and orthopedics. And it's not surprising that Hollywood has begun to weave a little motion picture magic with the 3D imaging machine. You know, after looking at Mr. Spock's ears, I'm glad I didn't have mine pinned back when I was a kid. And looking at this, it's quite a revelation. I don't know, I think they fixed the nose. What do you think? All right, so it'll never end up in the Smithsonian. Consider the subject matter. Well, now that we've seen how a third dimension can improve my bust, we'll show you other applications for 3D. Birth of a product grown in a vat of plastic overnight. It's not a special effect, but a new technology industry giants such as Kodak and GM are snapping up. Developed by 3D Systems, it's a process known as stereolithography, which combines radiation chemistry, computer-aided design, and laser light to create what some would call the impossible. For engineers who come up with a new idea for a product, well, usually they need to translate it into an image they can relate to, and that's where this CAD system comes in handy. You get a 3D computerized image, and in this case, our product is a throttle body for a carburetor. Now, at the moment, it's in a wire stage. Let me give it just a little bit of shading here to give you an idea of what our product is going to look like. There it is. Now, of course, traditionally for the engineer, his involvement, at least temporarily, ends here. At the moment, this design will be printed out and it heads off to the manufacturing firm to create the tooling to create the product or to make the product itself. And don't forget, this is just a concept, well, prototype if you will, and before it's all complete, it can take hundreds of hours at a cost of upwards of $100,000 and then some. But using stereolithography, you can go from concept to actually holding the product in your hand in just a matter of hours. The data contained in the CAD system is transferred to the stereolithography apparatus, or SLA, where the product is broken down into cross-sections, up to 200 per inch. The ultraviolet beam then scans the vat of polyurethane polymer. As the beam draws each section, the plastic is cured layer upon layer. The process continues until you have a completed product.
Well, we broadly cover just about everybody that builds prototypes. So our biggest customers tend to be in the automotive industry, the aerospace industry, medical, consumer products, anybody that's involved in building conceptual models or prototypes to prove out their designs. So it really there's no one industry that's not affected by it.
It's not surprising the auto industry has latched on to this process. Consider the fact a new car can take up to 6 years to design, and along the way, thousands of models, from door handles to throttle bodies, must be created at an enormous cost. GM, for example, spends $1 million a day on its design engineering. Consider the time and money that could be saved by incorporating the stereolithography process into everyday application.
We all came here because it was a startup environment with a new technology that really, I think, kind of ends where we all thought everything left off. And maybe to explain that a little bit, we've all done work with computers where it stops with that image on the screen. And this kind of completes that cycle by letting us take it from the computer and put it into our hand and hold that object and be able to understand what we're trying to design and what we're trying to manufacture.
Next, Japan takes share trading out of the stock market and into the living room. And a helicopter of the future that has no tail rotor.
Beyond Tomorrow is brought to you by Toyota, makers of quality cars and trucks. There's quality, then there's Toyota quality. Right down the line. Who could ask for anything more?
Toyota Corolla. First time I saw the new one, I said, that's a Corolla?
And why'd you say that?
It doesn't look like a Corolla. It's beautiful. And from where the driver sits, it's even more beautiful.
How so?
Great handling. Multi-valve performance. Sporty interiors. Beautiful. But I still keep thinking, this is a Corolla?
The new Dimension Corolla. Legendary value. Toyota quality.
Who could ask for anything more?
We're about to find out who keeps babies driest. Ultra Pampers Plus, Loves, or Kleenex Huggies Super Trim diapers. And who gets the vote? Huggies Super Trim. Only Huggies has the dry touch system, a slim blue middle layer that funnels wetness into the padding and helps hold it away to keep babies drier than Pampers and Loves. Huggies, champion of the dryness games, and a victory for babies everywhere.
Treat yourself like you should. Treat yourself oh so good with chocolate kudos granola snack. There's pleasure so big and alive. You'll love the whole grain crunch and nuts in every bite. Kudos made chocolate be everything it should. So treat yourself oh so good.
When Tom Jager can't slow down for a sore throat, Chloraseptic's fast relief won't let him down. He'll feel relief in record time, even before we finish this commercial.
Velveeta. Velveeta. It's those lively jalapenos blended into Velveeta Mexican that makes your nachos or any Mexican cooking a fiesta of taste. Velveeta.
Look, just do one. Get over there and stop moaning.
I was just teasing.
God,
It's me, Gary Shandling, and I want you to watch my show on Sunday here on Fox. And this is Tracy Ullman. She's going to tell you the same thing.
Well, yeah, Gary's on, and then my show is on after Gary's.
You're kidding. They told me mine was the only show on Fox. That nothing's before it, nothing's after it.
No, Gary, no, I was it before you, man. Wow, I mean, I breastfed Fox. I'm one of the people that breastfed Fox.
Oh, gee, there's a pretty picture.
The Tokyo Stock Exchange, along with New York and London. It's the world's busiest. Yamaichi Securities here in Tokyo is one of the big 4 security exchange firms in Japan. Right now, Yamaichi has 600,000 clients. The telephones are never idle here. As with the American stocks and bonds system, people are constantly calling brokers wanting to sell, buy, or transfer just at the right moment. And in this age of computers, it was only a matter of time before a better system emerged. Yamaichi is virtually banking on becoming the #1 firm through a simple home computer. There are 12 million family computers in Japan, many used, as in the United States, only to play video games. But Yamaichi Securities is tapping into that resource by developing a system used on this same computer where families can play the stock market. This simple computer, the Sunline F system, is the link between 50,000 Japanese families who daily dabble in the stock market and Yamaichi Securities' staff of brokers.
2 years ago, we came up with the idea that why not use the family computer, which is only 8-bit machine, but it is very possible for us to provide most of the necessary information for clients or individuals. So therefore, we started exploiting this kind of possibility.
It works like this. Clients provide the home computer, Yamaichi provides the software. The home system allows people in the comfort of their living rooms to buy, sell, and trade stocks in an instant. To make a transaction, a client simply has to key in his or her account number and password. Very important with children around. Imagine the catastrophe if Mom and Dad's fortune suddenly became an interesting video game for Junior. Well, anyway, after the password and account number are entered, a stock selection basket from the computer's menu will appear. The user is shown a series of options, for example, stocks and convertible bonds. After an order is placed, it's processed through a connecting phone line to Yamaichi. The transaction is then relayed to the Tokyo Stock Exchange by a Yamaichi broker. The Sunline F system is connected to the client's bank account, so the money invested is automatically deducted. The computer balances the client's account and provides an updated list and current value of stocks acquired. A strong yen on the world market has meant more Japanese dabbling in stocks and bonds, but overall the Japanese are not quite as crazy about investing as Americans. Yamaichi officials say the aim of the home stockbroking system is to increase the number of individual shareholders and ultimately break down the myth that surrounds big business through this very small, very simple home computer.
You're a good guy, aren't you? Yeah. Rufus is a happy, and I'm happy to report, healthy dog. His coat shiny and his nose is nice and cold, right? Right. Now, if he was sick and a veterinarian wanted to monitor his temperature closely, he may consider using this little device. It's called an ingestible thermal monitoring system. The name's quite a mouthful, but as you can see, the capsule isn't. It's made to be swallowed. It gives a very accurate temperature readout from inside an animal, whether it's Rufus, a horse, and even a whale. And the system is expected to be approved for use in humans very soon. You stay here and we'll play ball, okay? You want to lay down? No, huh? Okay, well, you just stay right there. Now, inside the silica shell is a rechargeable lithium battery and a tiny quartz crystal which is sensitive to changes in temperature. As the capsule passes through the system, a signal from the crystal is converted into a magnetic field, which is picked up outside the body. The frequency of the signal can then be interpreted as a temperature and displayed on a computer just like this one. Researchers at Johns Hopkins University are already refining the technology. Soon capsules will monitor heart rate, acidity, and body pressures as well as temperature. This technology reflects the latest advances in miniaturized integrated circuits. 10 years ago, all that equipment would have filled this tennis ball. Now Rufus can swallow it in one gulp. But something tells me he'd rather play with the ball. I'm not sure about that, Rufus. Rufus, want to play? Huh? Good boy. Come here. Come over here. Come on. Come on. All right. All right, ready? All right, ready? This is a McDonnell Douglas Series 500 helicopter. Even though this one's been modified for military work, it still performs pretty much like any other helicopter. It has a main rotor which provides lift and power, and a tail rotor which has two functions, direction and anti-torque. Anti-torque simply means it prevents the helicopter from spinning in the direction of the main rotor. It is this tail rotor that aeronautic designers and engineers have wanted to get rid of for years. And one of the primary reasons for that is that it's dangerous. In a recent study by the U.S. Army, in helicopter accidents, over 10% were caused by the tail rotor. That's why the development of NOTAR, or no tail rotor helicopter, is so exciting. Let's show you how it works. One of the major components of this new innovation was the installation of a fan. This fan literally forces air down into this tail boom. Now, as you can see, the tail boom on NOTAR is quite a bit bigger than on a standard helicopter. There's a slit here and another one here, and now this tail boom begins to act as a wing. The tail section of the boom, where the rotor would normally be located, has been replaced by this venting system. The pilot, by operating foot pedals, just as he would to control a tail rotor, now simply changes the direction of the thrust being forced down the boom. Clear. The best way to see the forces involved is when NOTAR is operating. With the use of a handkerchief, you can see the tremendous downdraft from the main rotor. This, combined with the airflow from the slits I pointed out, cause a powerful flow of air around the boom, increasing lift. As I step back to the area where the thrust is vented, it is possible to see the force of air generated by the addition of the fan inside the boom. James Van Horn is the project manager.
I'm an engineer. We say, all right, guys, we have a good scheme here. We're going to get rid of the tail rotor for safety reasons. And we do this. We do things to it and give it to the test pilots. They come back from the flight and go, hey, you're right, it's safer, but it doesn't work well. It's got this problem and that problem. And you try to correct the problems just so that you can have a safer machine. The opposite happened here. We designed what we knew was a safer machine and gave it to the pilots and turned out to be a better flying machine.
Here we are, going ready to fly.
The only way to truly appreciate NOTAR's performance is to fly it.
To the slower of it.
Test pilot Channing Morse took me along as he put NOTAR through its paces. By the way, you might want to fasten your seatbelts because you're in for a wild ride.
First thing that's noticeable to really experienced helicopter pilots and people without a lot of experience both is the reduced workload, which makes it much friendlier to the pilot in terms of that workload and really helps him. I get back in a ship with a tail rotor and it really kind of makes me angry because it's so much more work and there's so many more things for me to worry about.
The absence of a tail rotor means helicopters can now operate more safely at low altitudes. NOTAR is particularly useful in cluttered environments where more maneuverability is important. In conventional helicopters, the pilot can't see the tail rotor, so when flying close to tree lines and mountain ranges, or any terrain that the pilot is not familiar with, there is always the fear of striking obstacles.
Another thing that's interesting is this works in reality much better than it was predicted to work, which confuses the engineers quite a bit sometimes, but it's a pleasant experience because that's very rarely the case when you're working on systems that are totally new like this or totally foreign to the way it's been done before.
The first NOTAR helicopter will be available commercially by 1989. Also, the Army has chosen the NOTAR system for its new light attack helicopter. But the most significant news concerning the aviation industry is that McDonnell Douglas predicts that by 1994, it will only produce NOTAR helicopters, and that the tail rotor will be a thing of the past. break, a new treatment for diabetics which helps prevent amputations. And automatic house appliances that react on command.
Sometimes you need a little finesse. Sometimes you need a lot. Sometimes you need a little finesse.
Good morning.
The day's looking new and bright,
It's Monday again.
and you're gonna start it right.
Traffic's tied up.
'Cause there's Folgers for you that's decaffeinated too. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
A decaffeinated? And I'm waking up?
Nothing brightens your morning like Mountain Grown Folgers Decaffeinated. Mountain Grown coffee beans have more enticing aroma and richer flavor than any other kind.
Folgers so rich and good, the day starts like it should.
You know something? It's starting to look a lot better out there.
The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Decaffeinated. Oh, look at this. It's priceless.
Naturally.
It's Mom and Dad's 50th wedding anniversary.
Here we go.
Oh, wait, I'm going to charge it with the American Express card. That way it's automatically insured.
Hi, did you get it?
Hi, Mom.
Terrific.
You won't believe it. Don't worry. Remember, I used the American Express card. So it's insured.
Lost, stolen, or damaged. A way to protect the things you buy. Membership has its privileges.
No, no, no.
No, Pringle. Got the fever, got the fever. No, Pringle. Got the fever, got the fever. Got the fever, Pringle fever. We've got the fever for the flavor of a Pringles. Fever reliever, fever reliever. Fever reliever, Pringles.
Some athletes would give anything to make the Olympic team, even if it kills them.
What you're doing to yourself is crazy.
I can deal with sacrifice.
You're turbocharged. Business is so good, I had to start taking plastic.
A girl died.
Breakfast of champions.
You hear about the Olympic success stories, but there are some stories that never get told. A special 21 Jump Street, Sunday.
You know Bell Atlantic provides great phone service, but wait till you see what our data services can do. We're 1 billion bits of information per second that help keep industry working. Our data resources help keep the country running and the future bright. Everywhere you do business.
We're doing more than just drive.
We're Bell Atlantic.
Coming to Fox 5.
Everybody in the world wants to own a Mistral.
He was driven by his vision.
I have but one obligation, and that is to my work.
They were driven by desire.
Julian, I've been waiting for you forever.
Judith Kranz's #1 bestseller, A Searing Tale of Passion and Scandal, is now a 4-part miniseries starring Stacy Keach, Lee Remick, Stephanie Powers, and Timothy Dalton. Mistral's Daughter, beginning Monday, October 10th on Fox 5.
More than 5 million people in the United States have diabetes, yet diabetes accounts for 50% of the amputations in the United States.
My balance is not the best in the world.
For Richard Apfel, a diabetic since 1977, it began as a small lesion or ulcer on his left foot. An infection led to the amputation of his leg.
The other foot got to be so infected also. And last March and April, I had to sign a consent they were going to take the left leg too.
This foot graphically illustrates the ravages of diabetes. A few years ago, this foot would not have been saved. But thanks to pioneering efforts by a team of specialists at San Francisco's Veterans Administration Medical Center, new hope is evolving in the battle against diabetes. Dr. Carl Grunfeld says the mission is simple.
Save feet. The most important thing we can do is keep high-quality feet on the patients rather than giving them amputations and stumps.
Poor blood flow hampers the healing process, inviting gangrene and possibly more. The fear of amputation is something a diabetic has to live with all of their lives. And in the case of Mr. Parker here, he's been fighting to save his feet for the last decade. And so far, Mr. Parker, you've been successful.
Yes, I am.
Lucky.
Very lucky.
This shoe is specifically designed for Mr. Parker's foot, helping to alleviate the pressure on top of his toes. But there are problems with this shoe, not the least of which is how long you have to wait to get one. How long did you have to wait, Mr. Parker?
Over 3 months.
It's a long time.
It definitely is. Too long.
And not only that, it costs about $500, and by the time the shoe arrives, it's very possible there might not be a foot to wear it.
What we have done is set up an experimental program in which we are trying to utilize special plastics available for other uses to rapidly mold shoes that can be made at lower cost and with a quicker turnaround time.
During the casting process, a sophisticated ultrasound measuring device allows for correct biomechanical positioning of the foot. The new casting material is applied, and within minutes, researchers have a mold of the patient's foot. This is the completed cast made of lightweight polyurethane resin that will allow doctors to duplicate the diabetic foot using polyurethane plastic. Once doctors have this in hand, it's time to incorporate technology that's utilized in the development of high-tech running shoes. Now, this will be the sole of the San Francisco custom-made shoe, very much the consistency of your own foot tissue that will effectively reduce the amount of stress in susceptible areas. But the development of the shoe only solves part of the problem. In George Allen's case, this machine, known as the eMed, will solve the other. Developed in West Germany, the eMed allows doctors to pinpoint patients at greatest risk of developing ulcers. The idea is translated into a foot-shaped rainbow of color that's read by Dr. Richard Stess.
This is the eMed graphic display that we see, and you can see the blue graph as well as the other two colors represents peak pressure, area, and force.
The magenta and red being the most pressure we'll see?
That's correct. Anything greater than 30 newtons per square centimeter is peak area pressure. Let me show you a different way of looking at it. Okay. Now here you can see the mountain peaks of the area that he's bearing the majority of his weight and pressure. That is the area of potential tissue breakdown.
So the eMed really helps you develop a much more scientific prescription for those new shoes?
That's correct. We can accommodate the area within the shoe to relieve this high area of pressure.
And because of this experimental technology, George Allen has a new pair of shoes. Not in 3 months, but in 2 weeks. Well, how do they feel, Mr. Allen?
Feel great.
Yeah?
Feel great, yes. I wish when I turn around I could do it like we used to do in the Army, you know, put your this and this swing, you know, but I'll refrain from that.
For George Allen, the San Francisco custom-made shoe offers new hope in his fight against diabetes, a future free from the ravages of one of America's most tragic diseases.
Down Lover's Lane I wander, someday you and I.
Where am I? Life as a reporter can be quite hectic. Whenever you can find a time-saving device, you use it. And with the schedule I have today, I need every minute. Oh, it's that way? Yeah, okay. Now I know where I am. Hello. Ian's left the sauna on. All right, I guess we'll just have to turn it off then. Who needs this? My friend Ian from Australia is here visiting me in Japan. And while I'm going crazy here in the office, he's relaxing back in this really neat high-tech house that Toshiba's lent me. Hello. Ian's left the iron on. Well, I guess we'll just have to turn that off, too. If this guy had another brain, he'd be dangerous. It's really great having friends visit, but sometimes my friend Ian can be such a scatterbrain.
This is Richard Weiss. Would you like to go to the movies with me tonight?
Hello?
Hello, Susan. This is Richard.
Who?
Richard Weiss.
Richard who?
Blonde, about 6'2".
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah. How are you?
Okay.
Listen, would you like to go to the movies with me tonight?
Sure, that'd be great.
Great. Why don't you stop, you know where I live, why don't you stop by and we'll have some dinner before we go? All right. Great. I'll never get home in time to cook dinner. That takes care of the rice. I hope Ian's out of there. Yeah, I can't have Susan sweating. What's that number? While Ian was running amok in the house, what was alerting me to his activities via the telephone was a machine and not a person. This is the Toshiba home control system. When Ian left the iron and the sauna on, this is the panel that alerted me in my office. It said in an electronic voice, "The iron is on, the iron is on." I then punched into my phone an electronic code, which sent a message to this, which cut the power off to that outlet. I hope Ian's gone out. I'll deal with his problems later. While this is a great system for a bachelor like me, or Ian, its real importance lies in its safety and economy features. For example, if there's a fire, the smoke alarm will alert occupants of the home or call designated phone numbers. Other safety features also include a gas leak detection and a burglar alarm. This light shows how much electricity is being used. It can be programmed to shut down appliances in order of importance if a certain power level is exceeded. Each room's lighting and air conditioner are monitored here. They can be controlled separately. On the train, I asked for the air conditioner and rice cooker to be turned on. Creep. I know what he's done.
Hi, mate. Tried phoning you, but your line was busy. Susan came over and we've gone to the movies. Thanks for the rice. It was a great meal.
In case your Japanese is rusty, that means my bath is ready. I forgot to mention a few things. This is what I call the scatterbrain button. When it's pressed, it tells you whether windows are open or things like that. But this is my favorite. This is called the goodnight button. When that's pressed, it locks all doors, activates the security system, and keeps all friends out. I wonder how long before these are available back home.
Next, DNA from blood, skin, and hair helps convict criminals. And Richard visits the painless dentist.
Risk everything. Except your hair. I thought styling was torture. And my hair just loves it. I style with Pantene. Pantene puts these wonderful vitamins in every mousse, gel, spritz, and spray. I can hold, shape, lift, and still love every inch of my hair. The one thing I can't do is see why you'd use anything else. Pantene, because it's not just your style. It's your hair.
What is happening here? Wow! Magic! There have never been toys quite like this before.
No kidding.
Toys that bring imaginations to life. Introducing Disney infant and preschool toys and all of their magic. It's a dream come true. Disney toys from Mattel, bringing imaginations to life.
Fresh scent Clorox. Fresh scent Clorox. Oh, yeah. Fresh scent Clorox. Please goodness, it smells so good. Fresh scent Clorox. Fresh scent Clorox. Oh, yeah. Fresh scent Clorox. Please goodness, it smells so good. Fresh scent Clorox. Fresh scent Clorox. Oh, yeah. Fresh scent Clorox. Please goodness, it smells so good.
When does 1 minute feel like a zillion? When waiting for that tempting, tantalizing, tingly tang of cheddar Cheese Whiz. Then, just when you can't wait another second, it's done. Cheese Whiz processed cheese spread. The marvelous microwave-in-a-minute cheese sauce.
We felt it was time you heard from a pharmacist who still doesn't recommend Drixoral for 12 hours of cold relief. But he is out with a cold. Drixoral, the pharmacist's favorite.
Sunday on Married with Children, Al and Peg take sides.
Shave the beard. Yes!
No! In a war of the sexes. Who'll give in first? Steve?
Think of Marcy and take a look at my mother-in-law!
Oh, Marcy!
I will not give up my principles for an hour and a half of pleasure.
Look, you don't have to give up any...
Married with Children.
It all happens Sunday.
On Fox.
Very important man in that limo has stated that he's not going to pay a lot for this muffler.
Don't worry. At Meineke, you get quality Everlast mufflers from just $18.93 to $26.95 installed.
Besides, the very important man's very important lady says it's not the right day to pay a lot for a muffler.
You're not going to pay a lot for quality at Meineke.
There's a great college in New York City that isn't like any other, Mount St. Vincent. It's set on 70 acres in Riverdale on the Hudson. But what's important are the people here, like graduate Kathleen Lynch.
When I interview candidates for my law firm, I see many with a narrow focus. The Mount helps open your eyes to many different things. Today's competitive world requires well-rounded individuals capable of making clear-cut decisions.
Mount St. Vincent. Spend one day here and you'll want to spend the next 4 years.
This may not be a courtroom, but the work done in this laboratory in Abington, England, is being used in litigation throughout the world. Cellmark Diagnostics offers a revolutionary identification system called DNA fingerprinting. DNA is the genetic material inherited from our mother and father that separates us from all other individuals. The one exception is identical twins. The process of DNA fingerprinting is the result of a discovery made by British scientist Alec Jeffreys. Professor Jeffreys found a unique class of DNA probes that detect repetitive DNA, thereby recognizing a much greater number of individual characteristics. Cellmark uses this advancement to provide positive identification in paternity suits and criminal cases. First, a small sample of blood is extracted from the suspected parent or defendant, depending upon the case. It then must follow a strict protocol assuring the validity of the sample. These sealed blood samples are then mailed, shipped, or hand-delivered here to the laboratories in Abington. They're refrigerated until they're ready for processing. By the way, Cellmark is receiving approximately 200 blood samples a week from all over the world. First, a blood sample is washed. The cell is then broken open and the cell structure dissolved in solution. After the application of alcohol to that solution, the genetic structure of the cell, or DNA, is isolated. The DNA is then cut into millions of tiny fragments. The DNA fragments are placed at one end of a sheet of gel, exposed to an electric field, which separates the DNA into bands by size. A small amount of radioactive material is added to the Jeffreys probes so that these bands will transfer to film allowing scientists to obtain an image of the repetitive DNA. This image, which resembles a barcode used on grocery products, is the DNA fingerprint. Here now is the X-ray film containing the DNA fingerprints, or profiles, if you will. There are 5 cases on here. We'll go take a look now through the light box and see if we can find a match. Now, what we'll do is take a look at one of these cases, the one on the end here. And what you must remember is this one is the mother, this one is the child, and this one is the father. Now you're looking for matches. For instance, you'll see a perfect match here with the mother, another one here, another one here. However, when it comes to the father, even though on camera this may look like a match, it really is not aligned. And as we go on down, it becomes rather evident that this male is not the father of this child. Now we'll take a look at a case right next to that. Again, keeping in mind, this is the mother, this is the child, and this is the suspected father, or alleged father. Perfect matches here between mother and child. We come on down. Now we start to see another pattern. A match between male and child. Here, again, here, here, and so on down. And after careful examination, it would appear this definitely is the father of this child. Along with scientific evidence, expert testimony is occasionally necessary. In America, Dr. Dan Gardner is often called upon to deliver this expertise. He represents Cellmark, which is now opened a facility in Maryland. Do you see this changing litigation in this country, this tremendous amount of time we spend in courtrooms?
Well, it should reduce the number of cases actually requiring a jury trial or a trial. There should be a lot more plea bargaining involved. And that will, of course, reduce the cost. It will allow other cases to come to court in a more timely fashion.
DNA can be extracted not only from blood, but from semen, skin, and even a hair root. With law enforcement agencies using such a technology, committing a crime and getting away with it will become more difficult. Even a strand of hair left at the scene of a crime could send you to prison.
By the year 2000, we will be eating food developed from biotechnology. If it's not produced in a laboratory, it'll be grown on automated farms where soiled hands and rubber boots are making way for robots and computers. The first impression of this robot is that it represents high-tech animal torture. These one-day-old chicks are being vaccinated, receiving eye drops, and having the tips of their beaks cut off, a process which takes just 3.5 seconds. Manually, the same procedures take much longer and are done on older chicks, causing greater stress. Intensive poultry farming, introduced in the United States in 1920, has turned battery chickens into cannibals, making it necessary to cut off their beaks. Without the technique, up to 25% of chickens may destroy each other. Alternatively, Sweden is the first and only country so far to completely abolish battery farming. These are the dairy cows of tomorrow. Born out of artificial insemination, they will parent under an international frozen embryo transfer program and find their mates through a computer dating service. No wonder their genes are worth more than their milk. British farmers can now tap into a computer dating program and specify what percentage of protein or butterfat they might want in their herd's milk, the stature, body, and teat lengths of a cow, and most important of all, they can almost custom design the cow's production house, its udder. No longer do farmers need to cross their fingers when matching bulls with heifers. And remember, what's happening in veterinary science today is often just a few years away from human practice. Pig's life is pretty basic. It consists of standing around in the most cramped conditions, getting fat, and in the end, being eaten. To some, this may seem inhumane, but when pigs are allowed to eat together, they tend to steal each other's food. A new computer feeding system in England ensures that pigs always get their fair share. Each pig carries a transponder in its ear. The computer automatically opens the gate and lets the pig into the feeder. If it's already been fed, the greedy pig isn't allowed in again. Among the pigs, there's less bullying and biting than when they're being hand-fed, even if their ultimate fate is never really in doubt. To the Japanese, carp are a display of wealth and courage. They're considered a work of art. Their size, shape, and most importantly, their color markings are all deemed significant. To keep up with today's fashion of uniform-colored carp, bioengineers have genetically engineered the perfect carp. Using a process called gyrogenesis, they destroy the male chromosomes and instead take a fertilized egg with all female chromosomes. This method produces females only, so when the carp are still young, half of them are turned into males with hormone treatment. These carp are worth up to $500,000 each, but at this price, they must have very pure markings.
I'm sure I don't have to tell you how I'm feeling right now, but I have a cavity that has to be filled, and in the next room is my dentist.
Hi, Richard. How are you today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
All right. All ready to have a little fun today? Yeah, well, depends on what your definition of fun is.
You won't feel a thing.
I know, trust me.
Yeah, we'll get it going right away. The electronic blocking of pain messages has been used medically for years, but only recently, electrodes small enough to fit inside the mouth have been perfected. Positioned on either side of the area to be treated, they provide what is known as electronic dental anesthesia, a painless numbing sensation which has no side or after effects.
Now our next step, I'm going to have you control this yourself. You're going to take it. It's down to a minimum amount right now. Now start turning it up with your finger. And you'll start, as you gradually keep turning it up, you'll start feeling a little bit of vibration.
By turning the dial on the small control box, the patient can administer the intensity of the anesthetic he or she needs. In a world where 1/3 of the population is said to be needle phobic, EDA comes as a welcome, drugless alternative.
We're working here, then you just gradually just keep turning that up as you need it.
And when the use of Novocaine can't be avoided, EDA helps in reducing the pain associated with surgery and the administering of needles. Before you get too excited, I must tell you that EDA may not be used in every procedure. To be more specific, it's ideal for cleaning, drilling, bridge and periodontal work, but it's not suitable for tooth extraction or surgery where there's post-operative pain, because the moment the machine is turned off, so is the anesthetic.
Just release these 2 electrodes.
The great thing about this procedure is that I don't have that wearing off of Novocaine feeling in my mouth.
Thanks a lot. It used to be that patients would come into the dental office and they'd say to me or my staff on a daily basis, "Nothing personal, Dr. Malamud, but I don't like going to the dentist." And since we've been using EDA, it is rare to hear a patient say that. It's made our lives a lot nicer.
When you move with Ryder, think of the unpacking as practice. Because only Ryder will enroll you in one of the country's biggest discount shopping services, absolutely free. Which means you can buy almost anything for your new home at some of the best prices around. So after you unpack, you can unwind. Move yourself with Ryder and settle in with the savings. Ryder, we're there at every turn.
You look wonderful. I'm in love with a Lean Cuisine lady.
Stouffer's Lean Cuisine. have your taste, you have your style.
Ken and I are always amazed that lean cuisine's under 300 calories because it tastes so good.
Stouffer's Lean Cuisine. You have good taste, and it shows. Stouffer's Lean Cuisine.
Here comes today's Duracell battery. And here's yesterday's. Today's are built to last up to 30% longer than the ones we made just a few years back. So you'll be guaranteed a long, happy life. Today's Duracell lasts 30% longer.
I do beautiful, gorgeous flower arrangements.
It's 8:38. The kids go to bed and Mom goes to work.
2 or 3 hours after dinner. I always feel hungry, and I have to have a Snickers because that satisfies me.
Snickers bar. Fresh roasted peanuts, peanut butter nougat, caramel, and milk chocolate. Packed with peanuts, Snickers really satisfies.
Snickers really satisfies you.
See specially marked multi-bar packs to play the 60 Years with Mickey game.
This beautiful dog has been specially trained to do impressions. Well, only one impression, but he does it pretty well, don't you think? You know, sound reproduction has come a long way since this wonderful old machine brought music to the masses. This was fine for the living room, but not so good for outdoors. These days, we have boom boxes and Walkman to take our music to the street, even portable CD players. Well, now that the 3-inch discs have caught on, Sony has come up with a CD Discman to match the size. It's quite tiny, as you can see, fits right here in the palm of my hand, but it packs quite a punch through the headphones. Now you just pop in a disc, close it up, and away you go. And it has most of the features you'd find on a home player. The Discman also accepts the larger 5-inch CDs. Let me show you how that works. You just make a quick adjustment back there, another one there, put it in, close it up, and hit play. And there you go. Now, of course, as you can see, it does poke through the side, so I don't suggest you put this in your pocket, and you can't go jogging with one of these on your hip either. But on a long trip, on a train or a plane, the sound quality is bound to keep you happy. And, of course, you can always plug it into your stereo at home. Looks dangerous, doesn't it? That's all this week. Next on Beyond Tomorrow, Ultra Strong, Ultra Lights take satellite communication into the wilderness. A bug killer that's kind to Mother Nature and safe for humans. And robots change the face of modern industry. Please join us again next week as once again we journey beyond tomorrow. Thanks for helping. Yeah, you're a good guy.
Over the past few days, the world has seen how drug abuse affected the Olympics. Tomorrow, a special 21 Jump Street uncovers the gripping drama of athletes who use steroids to gain a winning edge. See what drives Olympic hopefuls to trade their lives for a chance at the gold medal. Jump Street tomorrow, right before America's Most Wanted.
Coming up, a dramatic scene at JFK, a jetliner from Haiti carrying men who muscled their way on board.
A wild queen shooting
where they had never gone before. What the audience didn't know was that there was an earlier attempt to launch the Starship Enterprise that never got off the ground.
You're looking at the very first scene of the very first Star Trek. It was this pilot episode used to pitch the series to the NBC network, which was the genesis of a veritable wagon train to the stars.
Check the circuit. All operating, sir. Can't be the screen then. Captain
definitely something out there, Captain, headed this way.
The newly restored pilot starred Jeffrey Hunter as the captain of the Enterprise in the role William Shatner would later make famous.
The devil are you putting in there, Ice?
Who wants a warm martini?
The 1964 version of the Enterprise was staffed with blonde Beach Boy types. There were even Annette and Frankie lookalikes roaming the halls. But NBC executives didn't like what they saw and beamed out most of the original crew except this one.
I believe there's some hope for you after all, Mr. Spock.
The new and now familiar cast had the right chemistry to make Star Trek a show ahead of its time.
I always told everybody that this was a phenomenal success, and even though we were verging on being canceled every year we were there, I told them, dismiss this. This is a phenomenal success, and 20 years from now, we will be making movies.
And Star Trek continues to soar into this next generation. It's been one of the top 10 shows in syndication for 18 years. The entire pilot episode will air on TV for the first time this week, and for die-hard Trekkies, the show is available on video cassette.
Gorillas in the Mist took in more than $3 million over the weekend, earning it the top spot in our box office estimates. Die Hard was second, followed closely by Heartbreak Hotel. A Fish Called Wanda was fourth, and Dead Ringers was fifth. And when these films become movie lore, they may earn a spot in a museum dedicated to the art of movie making. Leonard Maltin takes us now on an inside look at the most comprehensive collection of film and TV artifacts.
This is my kind of movie theater. Actually, it's a fantasy version of an old movie palace designed by artist Red Grooms and Liziane Luong. And it's just one of the exhibits at the brand new American Museum of the Moving Image here in Astoria, New York.
Just about everything you can imagine having to do with motion pictures and television has been gathered here under one roof. From this original Edison Mutascope to the 1891 camera that photographed Thomas Edison's earliest moving pictures. An exhibit called Masterpieces of Moving Image Technology features everything from a well-worn Paramount newsreel camera to a projector used for the earliest Vitaphone talking pictures, when the sound was synchronized to a phonograph record. Here's a 1928 television receiver, a 1938 console model, and the very latest doodad, Sony's combination Watchman and VCR. But this museum isn't simply about technology, not by a long shot. It's also about the selling of movies and TV to the American public and the artifacts that go along with it. Some people might call this trivia, others label it pop culture. But the museum's director disagrees with both labels.
It's neither trivial, nor in a way is it pop. It's serious culture. It's our culture. It's 20th century American culture.
There are more than 60,000 separate items in the museum's collection, from studio portraits of Greta Garbo to original costumes that allow us a close-up look at the clothes that influenced us all, from the 1930s to the era of Annie Hall. And the museum shows us the craft of movie making. High-tech machinery reveals the secrets of special effects cinematography, while makeup artists give us a chance to inspect their handiwork in a way no film ever could. But perhaps the spirit of the museum is best summed up by Red Groom's Fantasy Theater, where Mae West sells refreshments and Clark Gable beams down on the customers. Oh yes, they actually do show movies here, because that's really what the museum is all about. Leonard Maltin, Entertainment Tonight.
And would you believe that President Reagan had a close encounter with a UFO? The Insider has celebrating the third anniversary of her 50th birthday. And writer Gore Vidal is 63.
Well, the ET Insider was amazed to read in the London Daily Star that President Reagan spotted a UFO and that he immediately ordered his pilot to give chase in a zigzag pattern across the sky. The president is quoted in the Daily Star as saying he later told Nancy Reagan all about it, and they then studied the history of UFOs. The Insider at once called the White House and was transferred to the Presidential Pilot's Office. Colonel Robert Rudick, Air Force One pilot, got on the phone and spoke in a rapid and very heated manner. Quote, "Another bunch of BS. They're crazy. That's ridiculous, ludicrous, dumb." Colonel, the Insider reads you loud and clear. The Insider has often wondered what would happen when a publication never known for taste had a delicate story to report on another publication never known for taste. It came to pass with the death of National Enquirer owner Generoso Pope Jr. Headline the New York Post, National Enquirer owner goes to meet with Elvis, end quote. And the Insider has some recipes you cannot refuse. Antoinette Giancana, author of the book Mafia Princess, which became a TV movie, is writing a cookbook. It's called the Mafia Cookbook, and it will include the favorites of 35 Chicago gangsters. Ms. Giancana said some like steak, some like seafood, but Al Capone's favorite was spaghetti and meat sauce heavy on the cheese. When Big Al ordered the spaghetti, the insider imagines that those who liked the steak and seafood went right along with a chorus of, "Spaghetti sounds great to me, boss."
Never doubt that stars have big hearts. To help the hungry and homeless, celebrities turned out to play tennis, drink champagne, and eat exotic foods. Patrick Duffy of Dallas was in Dallas hosting the oil